Hey everyone, I'm doing a collective reading tonight. I've chosen a few decks and I have no, game plan but to explore with you the energies for tonight and tell you a beautiful story here. So let's just start with this French deck that I own. I might decide to pull the book just to get a few keywords and stuff, but otherwise I might just be able to use my intuition and my knowledge to read this. I can't make this up. We have the Eclipse here, Eclipse, and it says, well, I don't want to translate, never mind. And then Pluto here. And we just had a new moon in Scorpio with a partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. That's so fitting. So it's like the cards are telling us they just want to emphasize the energy. They are most likely asking us to do the work that comes with the eclipse, I guess, with the energy of a new moon and an eclipse, right? Maybe shedding, going very deep inside. So all forms of closing, as well as preparing the new by, setting an intention, of course, but both are necessary, right? In this energy, especially when we're talking Scorpio, Pluto. It's deeply, deeply, deeply transformational. It's already a new moon is a new cycle. An eclipse is just like the extra super layer of, okay, you really need to release things and purge and be very super, how can I put this? You need to look at yourself squarely in the face, right? It's a very up in your face energy. And you add the layer with, the Scorpio themes of exploring like the very, I don't know, the places you really don't want to look, that you really would prefer, like would stay hidden inside of you. At the same time, it's there's something with this energy that it'll be different for everyone, but I think that some of you might have experienced a surge of, I guess with the release, right? The sort of like what I call like the return, right? It's like, I don't know how to express this. It's like hitting rock bottom and then basically bouncing back up. So like that energy of feeling very, very, what's the right word? Like the diving board, right? Like really feeling that it's taking you to like almost like a quantum leap, taking you to new heights, creating like this beautiful bounce, so very elastic energy of, not one that would necessarily bring you back, but this sort of trampoline feeling, I guess. So there's something pleasant, it's like the reward after having gone so deep. It's like the reward. Let's look at, I'm pulling out of a different oracle deck, which mainly focuses on all kinds of plants, so herbology. This one I do want to pull the book because it has incredible insight. I won't read everything, but I might just at least give you a few more keywords than the one or the ones showing on the card. We get 2 cards. Oh wow, we get purity with calendula and joy with hibiscus. That's the feeling I was describing about the bounce, right? The joy. And purity is basically you've been purifying yourself, so going really, you know, through the fire of, you know, this transformation. Basically fire is a transformative energy. So wow, this is so in line, the 2 sets of cards. So let me just take a quick look at both and give you a few more keywords. We're going to look at purity first. So it's part of the section, it's called the herbs of the sun. So there's a few of them under the sun. So associated with the planet, well, the star, the sun. So some of the keywords are innocence, childlike, joy comes back here again. Humility, purity, new beginnings, trusting in life, and vitality. Let me just see if I want to read a few sentences here. Let's just leave it at that. I'm going to go to the hibiscus, so the joy. This one falls under, let's see, the herbs of Venus. That's cool. And it also has a dual, we can see here, I'm going to show you. They have the glyphs, so it's Pluto and Venus in this case. So another reminder of Pluto here. Keywords are nectar, grace, sensuality, beauty, divine feminine, nurturing, creativity, abundance. So let's just leave them here for now. I'm going to push them a little backwards and I'm going to pull some tarot. Just wanted to get a starting point here for this reading for you, collective. That's interesting. So Sun, Venus, Pluto. What's remarkable about that combination, especially with the card with the eclipse, is that it's almost like the astrology that we just had. There was Venus was tightly conjunct the new moon in Scorpio. So I mean, it's absolutely literal here on the table. And that's quite striking. So if you're into astrology, as well as tarot, this is a score, right? It's like the cards were meant to come out. It must mean that it was particularly crucial for you, collective, in general, for all of us, but you know, as a collective, and since I'm reading for everyone, albeit the general energy, I think it was significant personally for each and every one of you, obviously in different ways. But I want to say it was a deeply, not deeply, that's not the word I want to use. It must have been, for the majority of you, pertaining to love itself, your love life, the way you love, who you love, how you love, why you love, when you love, literally. So you might have not even been fully conscious of all of that, or even asked yourself all of these 5 questions, right? The 5 W's, or you know what I mean, like how, when, what, where, etc. But it's not the 5 W's, but it's the equivalent of going around all the facets of a question. So you might have not done that consciously, but it feels like it operated anyway. It's funny, I'm looking at 2 things here on these cards. The reason I say it operated anyway is that you have the sun of the rays of the sun, and the breath here. So it's like the things that are sometimes invisible yet deeply. Why do I've been saying the word deeply I don't know how many times, and it's not the word I want to use. What's incredible here is that sometimes the rays of the sun are invisible, but you can feel them. And breath is invisible most of the time, unless you're in winter. And it's deeply important. So both, the sun and the breath are the quintessence of life, right? So there's something crucial about this rebirth, this renewal. I feel that you would have gotten like a second, like what we call having a second wind. If you run, at some point you hit a second wind and you're very comfortable, like breathing as you run. So that kind of feeling where things become easier, they flow better, because you're all aligned, you're going in the right direction, you're going with the energies, you're synchronized, in symbiosis with the universe. The 2 of Cups came out, but it came out in reverse, which is fine, because I think it might have, I told you it was a transformation in love, so a deep release and also renewal. So this makes absolute sense, and we'll see what else develops here. This one, the 8 of Wands in reverse as well. So simply emphasizing, now moving forward with a precedent or former lover, relationship. And then the bounce, the Chariot pulls up. It's a really interesting, I want to show you. It's like the 8 of Wands and the Chariot side by side. It's literally the energy I was describing about hitting rock bottom with the 2 of Cups and the 2 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Wands in reverse, and then bouncing right back up with the Chariot, finding all the energy and all the vitality, all the dynamics sort of. I love it. I I want to point out something. I'm really strong on imagery. I want to show you something. So the dolphins, they're side by side. They are up and down, but they're mostly side by side, you see? Left and right. Whereas the horses are up and down. I like that. I think it indicates even more, like it shows the shift. It's a shift in direction. Full on, right? It's fun to read this card. What is that? The Four of Cups in reverse. So coming out of a lethargy. I mean, with the Chariot there, definitely, it's like this energy is pushing you out of that sort of stagnant prior energy. And then we have the Two of Wands in reverse with the Four of Swords. It's an interesting, this reading is going up, down, up, down, up, down, sort of. Because now the Two of Wands is, how can I put this? Especially, it's like, it's sandwiched between the two fours, right? You've got the Four of Swords and the Four of Cups here in reverse. But let me see. I'm going to separate them from the rest, 2 secs. And I'm going to just think before I speak. So what I'm sensing on these cards is longing. And it's interesting because I was saying it was up and down because the Four of Swords came up and it made me think that you went back. As much as you had a surge of vitality and felt a pressing need to move, at least it appeared like it was going to be physical movement here, but the following cards are showing me that it's not a full-on physical movement at the moment. So the movement is inward, internal, yet it's super, super strong. And even if it's not kind of showing up in your life, manifest if you want, manifest it in your life concretely, you can still, because you're feeling it inside, that there's been a huge transformation. You can feel the change, you can feel the shift, you can feel the energy came back to you. And yet, here we have this sort of kind of a bubble where, especially, I guess I'm saying this because of the circle behind this figure, this mermaid. There's quite a lot of longing. The Two of Wands here in reverse. I don't read it as indecision, especially not here. I think it's I'm sensing a little bit of discouragement because I think you're conscious that there's a gap between what you're feeling inside with the transformation and what is actually happening in your life in the moment. But you know better, and you're wise enough that you know to keep the energy or the thoughts and the dreams and the visions and the desires alive, right? You could be a little bit nostalgic from the disconnect, of course, from really feeling the shift and knowing that, you know, how you love, who you love, when you love, what you love, etc., etc., has changed. So there is a form of mourning. But it's very faint. I have to tell you, it's very, very faint, because it's not an omnipresent, gloomy energy. Like, there's no swords here. So it's a very it's really happening on the emotional plane as well, not so much in the mind. I know I'm talking about using your imagination to manifest, but it's really connected to your heart because of Venus that came up. I said there's no swords. I'm looking at the Four of Swords, but I was thinking, let's say, Ten of Swords, Three of Swords, you know, the harsher ones. There's healing as well. We all know that on the Four of Swords. So dog's getting strangled. I'm going to pull one more. I spoke of the Two of Wands as discouragement. There's also a little bit of... oh, interesting. There's a card that stayed there. I didn't even notice. I just noticed. I'm going to pick that one. Made me forget my trail of thought. That's a good sign. It's very representative of finally forgetting the past and moving into a new vision for your life, a new set of desires, maybe a new interest, love interest, of course. Renewed love for yourself as well. I'm saying that because we have joy, because we have the Chariot with so much energy. We see the transformation cards, and we see the healing, and we know that Venus was in the sky with the new moon. So this is why I'm saying that. So let me try to retrieve the thought about there's a tinge of discouragement here on the Two of Wands, but there's also a lack of, it's not a lack. There's a little bit of a narrow-mindedness, a little bit of the idea of the box. So you might want to make sure that you feel out that box, right, for yourself, no matter what it is. Of course, it's symbolic what I'm describing about touching the walls of that box, right? As well as the ceiling and the floor of it. You need to sense the whole, you need to know where those walls are for yourself. And if you can imagine yourself pushing on the walls and just expanding the box. So even if life is contained sometimes, right? You can try and imagine that the box is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and is becomes so spacious that you don't feel the walls anymore, even if there's still some form of structure. So let's grab that card. The Eight of Swords. I'm laughing because the imagery threw me off. Like, I thought it was going to be a great card, and basically because of this lion is so majestic. And then I read at the bottom, it's the Eight of Swords. That was an anticlimax. So I'm going to go with my first impression, because I have to say that this lion, for me, and you have to play along, but I'm going to put my finger in front of the Eight of Swords. I want you to focus on the image. First of all, he's extremely handsome. He's peaceful. I can sense he's peaceful. I like also, I'm sensing he's very secure. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm keeping my finger in front of that, those words. Yeah, he's very secure. So confident, but I don't know, reassuring, but he's also so secure, like the opposite of insecure, right? Also, I guess I'm focusing on secure, the word security, because I want to say that this person is a sure bet. If it's a person for you, right? I'm going to explain why I'm feeling it's like a representative of someone, because this Four of Swords, and I told you about the bubble, could also be like the moon. So the idea that you're dreaming, and so if it's a bubble, I've said that before in another reading, but I'm seeing the same thing here. Like, what's in the dream bubble, what's in the bubble, like in a cartoon, is this lion. And it's fitting because it is the Eight of Swords. So it is a figment of your thoughts, and here I want to say of your imagination. Not to say that the person doesn't exist in reality, but at the moment they live in your mind, they live in your heart, because the lion is akin to the heart. So there's something about a little bit of the idea you're trapped in that thought, okay? You're sort of paralyzed. That's interesting. You're paralyzed by the thought, but I'm choosing these words as if they were harsh, but I don't want to apply a harsh connotation. I don't know if you understand. It's just to show you that you're in one place at the moment, dreaming up this person, this relationship. And I think most of what you're dreaming, or most of what you're desiring, are the qualities and the attributes of who you wish to enter your life, the kind of relationship that you wish, because all of the energy of the transformation was about what has changed in love. Who do you love now? How do you love? Why do you love? When, etc. Like, and this is exactly the type of reflection that you are doing. And although it's a reflection, you're thinking, I really want to add that there's a lot of, you're stimulating your imagination greatly. For some people, it's the same thing. For me, it isn't, so I wanted to specify that. I'm looking at the Chariot card. This is the only major arcana here. I'm looking at the number 7. I'm thinking 7 weeks. I'm also thinking the 7th day. So what I'm thinking is not the 7th day of the month. I'm thinking the 7th day of the week. So depending how you start your week, you could be looking at, let's say for me, the beginning of the week is a Monday, then Sunday is the 7th day of the week. If you start your week on the Saturday, you understand. So it's up to you, because we all have different ways of looking at time. But think of whatever reference point you have, and think of the 7th day of the week from that starting point. I think that day will be significant. I'm going to leave the reading here. Hopefully you found something that resonated for you. I just want to emphasize that the cards are really in line with the transits, and that was really it was great to have, at least for me as a reader. I enjoyed that very much. Anyway, good night. Take care. See you soon. Oh, please like, share, subscribe. That would help the channel. Thank you so much.